Welcome to the Man on the Post Weekend Review. I am your host, Ross. I haven't done one of these for a while, but with me this week, I've stolen Dave's chair. Sorry, Dave.
That's quite all right.
How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Yeah, I'm all right. Simon's here.
How's it going, mate? You all right?
Yeah, good. He's had a big old day in the big smoking. Yeah, fun day.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one. To cap off an interesting weekend, I suppose.
Yeah, and Chris is also here.
Hello.
He's had the biggest tragedy of all, haven't you? Your air fryer has gone kaput.
Yeah, it's horrible. But it's nice to see the boss has stepped in after a rowdy podcast last week.
Yeah, a bit of control was needed here.
Yeah, just had to come and keep us all under control.
If we can not mention Hitler, we'll be doing all right, okay, this week?
You should have heard the things I didn't say.
Speaking of despicable human beings, Bruno Fernandes scored a winner for Man United the 91st minute. To win against Fulham. Did they deserve it? I did not watch this because I can't stand watching Man United. Dave?
I watched it and it was a waste. It was a waste of my life. I mean, neither team really deserved to win. It was awful.
Okay.
Even Fernandez's goal was really awful in that Fulham could have cleared the ball many times and just chose not to, over and over again. I'm not too upset they won though, because I don't want Ten Hag to get sacked.
Exactly, this is perfect.
That's exactly what I said as well.
Win every sort of every 4 games or so. Just get a little win in there. Just keep it going.
He claimed in his post-match interview that was the intensity and everything that they needed this season. Didn't Harry Maguire almost? I'm pretty sure he got man of the match. He was being highly raved about anyway.
Yeah, he was player of the match,
and he played most of the game concussed. Clearly concussed to the point the referee stopped the game because.
How did they know the difference?
And Man United were like, no, he's got a hand injury.
Am I missing something? Why is Johnny Evans starting and Rafael Varane on the bench?
I didn't understand that. How long was Varane just recovering from injury for? It's absolutely insane.
Did you hear Noel Gallagher on TalkSport yesterday claiming that they're not going to finish in the top 6 and that Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire's Leicester's centre-backs 10 years ago, and yet they're starting for Man United. He was absolutely delighted about Man United's fall from grace.
I think it's one of those things, when a rubbish mid-table team goes on they're doing a bad run and they need to go for Premier League experience, get back to basics, and that's exactly what it was. I mean, I don't really know why TNT and Sky insists on showing 2 crap mid-table teams playing each other. It's very odd.
I hear Wes Morgan is literally sitting next to his mobile phone right now, just in case it has an injury at Old Trafford. But it is ridiculous. How much do you feel if you're Varane? Maguire was out in the cold a few weeks ago, and Johnny fucking Evans is keeping you at the team. It's ridiculous. Lindelof, isn't Lindelof fit again? Because he played at left back last week, but obviously that's had to change this week because there's some kind of new Premier League rule that you can't play the same left back 2 games in a row. But yeah, madness.
It's just a horrible looking team, isn't it? That back 5. What a mess! What an absolute mess! And if Scott McTominay is your most creative goal-scoring player, you are in serious trouble.
They all seem to hate him as well. I don't really rate him, but he's took him out of the shit so many times in the last few months. It's remarkable how he's spot on. No McTominay.
I think it's because they've got a distorted view of where they are. They still think they're the team they were 10, 15 years ago, where someone like McTominay would probably still be involved, but he'd have been Darren Fletcher equivalent. He is a good player, but he's not a player that should be regularly starting in Man U's midfields. The fact that he is one of their better performing midfielders, that's where the problem is. But their fans just don't seem to accept where they are now. And I agree with what Mr. Noel Gallagher said. I don't think they will finish in the top 6. I genuinely don't. Who are they going to finish above? Out of the teams that you think would be in and around there, who are they better than?
I'm just looking at the next permanent Man United manager odds. Zidane is the favourite. He would be mental to go there.
Not a chance.
Graham Potter is 5-1.
Ball club gets the first vote, don't they? Dad's the most high-profile bald manager
But there's the names of the list go wildly swing from one name to the other. Zinedine Zidane to Michael Carrick to Kieran. Who's Kieran McKenna?
Ipswich's manager. I mean, he's saying now it won't be him.
Isn't he ex Man United coach?
Yeah, but I mean, that seems to be the way this has been put together. It's like, first and foremost, Venn diagram. Are you bald?
Yeah.
Yes, right, you're in. Have you been involved with the club at some point? Say, right, get Carrick, McKenna, Fletcher, get them all on the list. Yep. That's fine.
Where's Steve Bruce on that list?
He's not quite bald enough. Yep, Stammer is waiting for the phone. He's in 2 circles in the Venn diagram.
Yeah, they're just a mess, absolute mess. They probably will appoint someone like Zidane, and it's not going to help. They've tried the high-profile managers; it doesn't work. I mean, they could do worse again. Is
Zidane going to look at that team and think, "I cannot wait to work with Johnny Evans, Scott McTominay, and Harry Maguire"? He isn't. A manager. I don't see a top manager buying into that because. They just haven't got the squad. It's like saying, I'm going to give you some money. How much fucking money are they going to give him? Like,
yeah,
that whole squad needs work. That's a project now. That's not take us over and win the league. That's a project. That's start from scratch. We need to bring someone in here for multiple years and get rid of all the deadwood in a very similar way like Arsenal have done. But I think it's even worse there.
Yeah, it definitely is. The rot is too far set now. They're fucked, and it's delightful, absolutely delightful.
It's great to see. Like, so let's all get our Dutch Eric Ten Hag flags out and keep waving them.
Even Brendan Rodgers would have second thoughts about taking this job right now, and he's got the biggest ego in football. Fulham, I'm just looking through Fulham's team. I've paid no attention to Fulham for years. Alex Iwobi plays for them, apparently, which is good news to me.
He's always the name that comes up.
He's so bad. I know you like him, Chris, but like,
I did like him. He's not good at the moment.
He's
I don't really like Fulham.
In like the middle third of the field, he carries the ball quite well, but he can't shoot, and every time he shoots, it goes so high. It's incredible.
Willian is their player of the season so far.
Yeah,
like the Fulham fans are raving about how he's rolled the clock back. But yeah, madness
for someone else's career. Fulham will just do a Fulham, won't they? They'll be fine. Probably. Brentford beat West Ham 3-2. What do you make of this? West Ham are a weird team, aren't they? They're so up and down at the minute. They're currently 11th.
Yeah, 1-7 in the league.
I thought they'd had quite a decent start to the season, but the last few weeks it's not been great for them really. But then weirdly they battered a pretty strong Arsenal team in midweek in the cup.
But they were brilliant against. To be fair, we were shitty in midweek, but they were really good.
Yeah, they come up against Nathan Collins. I remember you being a big Nathan Collins fan, Dave.
Yeah, well, he cost £25 million.
I mean, I think when Neil Maupay scores against you, you've got to start questioning things, haven't you? I mean, he completely cocked up an open goal where he ran for half the length of the field. He had plenty of time to decide what he was going to do and still got tackled by the keeper. So that's not ever going to be a good look, is it?
No. He's going on a run now. He's going to score in 35 consecutive games just to wipe out. 35 games he didn't score.
It's his first goal in over a year.
His last goal was also against West Ham. Yeah. Weirdly enough. Yeah. You wouldn't want to be Jared Bowen's missus though, would you? Because he's shit at home and fucking great away. Hasn't he scored in 7 away games in a row?
Yeah, he's a record breaker now.
Yeah. Poor Danny Dyer.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that on Match Day, I thought I'm getting that in there somewhere.
Brentford have slapped £100 million price tag on Ivan Toney. Chris, interested for Arsenal still, or?
To be fair, I'd take anyone who can make a shot on target at the moment. I wouldn't pay 100 million for him. No. I'd take him, but he's like 28, I think.
Yeah.
Especially with the drugs ban, he's been out for like a year. I think that fee will come down considerably because Brentford are playing really well without him. They play three up top anyway, and you say the other two lads in Neil Maupay are doing all right for them. So I think it would be easy to talk them down a little bit.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't go over. I'd be comfortable playing 40-50. I think it'll probably go as far as 60 for him, but no way 100 million.
No, that's insane money. I don't know how long his contract is, but maybe that's playing some part in.
Unless he's a qualified referee, of course, then we'll give him as much money as they fucking want.
That win moved Brentford up to 9th. Palace dropped to 11th. Two very sort of middling teams this year. Anything else to say on these two teams, boys?
No.
Speaking of two teams with nothing to say about, Burnley lost 2-0 to Palace. Anyone got anything?
I mean, just reiterating what I kind of said last week, I've seen nothing from Burnley whatsoever to suggest that they're going to stay up at all. I think it's really, really odd how they've sort of approached the season. And we kind of said before in the last few weeks, I do get the idea of sort of having your starter player and sticking to it. But when it's not working, like, you don't have to abandon it completely, but you've got to do something, surely. Like, maybe for the first 15, 20 minutes of the game, kick it long a little bit from some goal kicks, like mix it up a little bit. I've been really disappointed with them. I think because they were so good in the Championship last season, obviously it's a big step up, but I did expect a lot more from them, to be honest.
They've lost every home game now, haven't they? It's like their first 6 home games they've lost.
I think so, yeah.
Which is pretty cool. I think company should get the sack for sticking pin badges in that lovely Karl Lagerfeld jacket of his.
He needs to sort that out. Lose the baseball cap as well.
Yeah, that's a lovely coat he's wearing. He's putting pin badges into it.
He must get laughed out of ball club when he turns around.
He is. He's not welcome anymore. You don't hide it with a baseball cap. Embrace it, Vincent.
That's Tony Pulis' look. And
exactly.
You're not worthy of that name.
He can teach you a thing or two about tactics. You might stay up.
How to defend, at least.
Yeah, well,
Didn't Jeffrey Schlupp score in this game as well?
He did.
That shows quite how bad, but Burnley are.
Yeah, from Jordan Ayew assist. I mean, what a dream team!
Who Roy Hodgson called their best signing ever. When he signed he signed a new deal in the week, and Roy Hodgson declared him the best Crystal Palace signing ever.
I mean, I think that's
rolling in his grave. Isn't he?
That's like first sign of dementia, probably, isn't it? I think. Yeah, questions need to be asked here.
He's 76. Just give it on, mate.
I mean, who would manage that long to manage Jordan Ayew and Jeff Schlupp? Like, it's not like he's got like these world beaters who gets such a joy to watch Jeff Schlupp.
I think that's why you've got to have Roy, because you've got to have someone who literally has nothing better to do with his time. No ambition to do anything. Just give me an easy gig managing these. These are my type of guys.
But Jordan Ayew, isn't Jordan Ayew having quite a good season?
He is.
No one understands how or why.
Yeah.
I just they had a clear out a few years ago when Roy left the first time around. It was like, hasn't Patrick Vieira done well to get rid of all that deadwood and bring in all these new players? Roy's come back, and it's like that gif where they throw Barney out of nose and they're all still there. Like,
where's that Will fella? He was fast.
Yeah. Yeah, he's unkillable, Jordan Ayew. He'll be there forever. Get the statue built now. Palace are 10th, obviously. Everton won, Brighton and Hove Albion won. It was all going so well for Everton until Ashley Young decided to rock up and score an own goal in the 85th minute. Carl isn't here. He's fuming about it. He decided not to come this week.
What was Jordan Pickford doing? Like, I'm so glad that even Martin Keown could see it as well. Because my first thought when I saw it was he gone with it with his right hand? Like, use the hand nearest to the ball, and he'd have probably saved it. And I was thinking, is he just me? Am I being stupid? And I'm looking at his body angle and everything. No, he could definitely have saved that. And then when Martin Keown's going like, what is he doing? I was like, thank you, Martin. We don't agree very often, but
when Keown's the voice of reason, things have gone wrong.
17% possession they had at one point in that game,
insane,
and while they were winning.
That's a Sean Dyche wet dream. That is.
Sit in deep, soak the pressure. Don't hit them on the break. Just don't break.
Lewis Dunk was Brighton's most attacking threat. He was taking free kicks. He had a goal disallowed, which was quite a good finish.
It's a brilliant finish for that.
It's absolutely insane.
Oh, he loves it, doesn't he?
You can do what you want against Everton because, like they said, they're not going to come at you. So, why not?
Get your goal, sit in, take it or leave it.
Give the other centre back a free roll to do what he wants. Insane. What's happened to Brighton? They're on a good run until I watched them play Newcastle, Dave. They tore you apart, and then since then they've just fell
good ideas with the station since then.
They did, didn't they?
I think Europe started. And
I was just going to say that they're struggling, aren't
Deserby,
they?
like, for all he's a good manager, like, you can see why he doesn't manage at a top club, because he just only has one setting, which is like, fuck. And then the rest of the time, he doesn't know what to do. So it's like, oh, I'm knackered. And it's like, right, well, now what?
He rotated as well, didn't he? Didn't he make like 5 changes?
He's always rotating. He's like a weasel. There's always like new players in and out. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he dropped Jason Steele, didn't he? And brought in.
He loves swapping the keepers as well.
Yeah, it's strange.
He's a madman.
Stick with your best team.
That would be stupid.
I think as well, like, I don't think they've really got the squad to be able to rotate and have the same sort of level of quality. I think there is like quite a big drop off with them compared to sort of similar place teams in the league there. And that's like sort of going back to Dave's point there. I think Europe, we've started getting to the run of 2 games a week, and they're just sort of struggling to cope with it, aren't they, at the moment?
Starting midfield of Lallana, Gilmore, and Milner that's not Premier League ideal, is it? There.
I'm really sad that Carl isn't here, because I wanted to ask him just how shit Billy Gilmore is in real life. Because I remember when he was the new messiah at one point in football, and now he's terrible. I think he's shit, but
he passes the ball sideways like no one else though.
I remember when England played Scotland in the Euros, Graham Souness was talking about him like he was like Jude Bellingham or something. It was outrageous.
Chelsea fans were the same when he was there, like he was the second coming, and then he went on loan to Norwich and couldn't get a game.
Yeah. Yeah, his career is fallen off a cliff, definitely. Just looking at everyone's lineup, it's so depressing. 2 banks of 4, and then Calvert-Lewin, and Decore just kind of doing what he wants.
It's a proper Pardew move that way. It's like, right, you've played in midfield all your life, but because you're quite big, 10 rule, right? Second balls, scraps.
You're my Ashley Barnes.
What got title done? Seriously. Man City, demolished Bournemouth 6-1. I'm guessing they didn't really need to even get out of second gear for this one, did they?
No. Took Carlton off at half time.
Jeremy Doku was on fire.
He was amazing in this game. Absolutely. I think he was involved in every goal except for one.
Wow.
This was a game like... Man City, and it is normally sort of in the first part of the season, they always chuck in like a 6 or 7 goal battering of someone. And like I looked at this game, I think I went 7-0 in my Super 6. I just thought this is a game they're going to hammer them. And I don't think was anyone really surprised by this?
No,
only surprised that Haaland didn't score.
Yeah.
Bournemouth lined up with 5 defenders and 2 defensive midfielders, and still conceded 6.
Yeah, but it was 0-0 for half an hour, which their manager thought was a success.
That is the real quiz.
I reckon he will absolutely get binned during the upcoming international break.
Yeah, I think he's in trouble as soon as the international break comes. Definitely.
Yeah.
He was the one that major targeted after Jesse Marsh. So thankfully, that didn't help, did it?
Where did Jesse Marsh end up?
He's still floating around.
I thought didn't he get a national job or something?
I think that's what he's hoping for, the USMNT, but even they're not silly enough to employ him.
I just wonder if he might get the call from Bournemouth, because they've got American owners, haven't they?
Yes.
Well, Bournemouth are home to Newcastle next weekend, which obviously the break follows that. So, I think we could be seeing the last of him after the weekend.
Wow. Yeah, I would say they're going down, but there's so much shit at the bottom of this division that it's hard to pick at the minute.
Yeah, he's left absolutely no stamp on the Premier League whatsoever. Like, if he left tomorrow, like, no one would remember him probably next week. Like,
I can't remember his name now.
I want to say it has an eye in it somewhere.
Yeah, every week before we do this,
Iberdrola or something like that. Yeah, that's what I keep meaning to do. But he was talked about in like real big things though when he come, and like everyone's saying, look, he's got a good record. He's done well with small sides before.
Yeah,
and he's I don't know what he's. I can't even. I say early on in the season, I think Bournemouth had a couple of games where they passed the ball around nicely, but they just haven't looked like they've got anything to them. Very similar to Burnley. We had this discussion like 2 weeks ago, didn't we? Like Bournemouth and Burnley are just like sleepwalking. I think was the term that was coined. Just sleepwalking through games, and that they've been terrible.
Just get Gary O'Neill back. What's he doing?
I don't think he'd go back. I think he's quite happy where he is.
Is he at Wolves?
Yeah,
the Wolves.
What? Since when?
Yeah. He beat Man City.
I don't watch Premier League football anymore. There's just nothing
I
there
was
for
going to
me.
say he was on Monday Night Football the other week, and he gave like a lesson in his
it was really impressive on it.
in like how he sets his teams up and other things, and his insights were brilliant. To be fair,
I had no idea he was Wolves' boss. I thought there'd be some Portuguese fella.
No, they can't. They haven't got two pennies to rub together. So
Yeah.
the Portuguese guys were priced out, and it was
Oh.
all left to good old Gary to come in,
yeah.
pick up the reins.
Yeah, we're going to sell all of your big good players, and off you go. That was basically his instruction. He's doing really well.
Take what you
Well,
want.
he had been doing really well.
Yeah, that's a perfect segue. They lost to Sheffield United this weekend. Norwood scored with a 100th minute penalty.
Is he the worst player in the Premier League?
Ollie Norwood.
Ollie Norwood.
It took a mean penalty though.
He's fucking dog shit.
I lost a lot of respect from him in his interview where he was like, so why did you take the penalty the way you did? He's like, I just hit as hard as I could. I'm like, good lad.
Sunday League footballer recognises his talent.
It's only the 100th minute in a game, in a match you've never won. No wins this season. Just hit as hard as you can.
Should not have been a penalty.
Not
in a million fucking years. It's exactly the same as the one last weekend. Should not have been a penalty.
Like, I'm convinced at the last referees meeting before the season started, they put all 20 teams into a hat, picked Wolves out, and went, right, this is the team we are just going to absolutely rinse this season with decisions.
I would probably argue they picked out more than one name out of that hat, the way this few weeks going. But yeah, Wolves are getting shafted. How they haven't released a statement by now. It's fucking...
It's because he's a real man, Gary O'Neill. He's got a funny
Yeah,
Cameron Archer's goal was fucking great in this as well.
That was a nice
goal. He's a quality finisher. I've seen him Villa a couple of times. He's just a proper goal scorer.
It's hard to soar like an eagle when you work with Turkey, as he's finding out every week. So
yeah, 12 points on the board, Wolves. Yeah, they must be doing something right at some point this season. But yeah, this is not great. Letting Paul Heckingbottom get a Premier League win.
Unforgivable, really, but
it is. Yeah.
How can you beat Man City and lose to Sheffield United?
It is mad, isn't it? Absolutely insane.
That's me.
Football's mental. Yeah, I mean, we've delayed it as long as we can. Newcastle, Arsenal. All right. Do you want to just take a back seat for a sec, sorry? And
I just want to enjoy this.
I'm just a bit distracted because my mum's just texted me and asked me why Carlton Palmer's playing for Chelsea.
Honestly, I really wish it was.
Fucking hell.
Brilliant.
Jeez, I feel like I need to call a doctor.
That's a good segue, actually. Just before we get into this match, Chris texts his mum back, right? Can I ask you what he's doing on April the 13th, 2024? Any plans?
Off my head, nothing.
Champions League final or something, Dave?
No. It's
half term.
Do you know where Workshop is?
I do. It's right there where I was born.
Right. Well, you can get a ticket then for an evening with Ron Atkinson and Carlton Palmer.
Okay, now
It's Manton Sports, Retford Road Workshop. Now, for VIP tickets will cost you £40, and you get a meet and greet, a professional photo with Ron and Carl printed on the night, live interview, memorabilia auction.
Where the fuck have you pulled this from? Just randomly.
This has got your Google alerts, isn't it?
Google alerts.
Tell me about all the Carlton Palmer events in my area. Or you just have a gold ticket for just £30, which is entry half an hour later, but you still get the professional photo, bizarrely. Live interview, memorabilia auction, Q&A.
Wow.
So
Q&A as well, so you can ask Big Ron what he really thinks of Marcel Desailly.
Well, ask what he really thinks of. That's what we really like to Carlton Palmer. That was really
yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, assuming get 4 VIP tickets. Yes.
My mate.
Sign me up.
My mate's a Leeds fan, and when we signed Carl Palmer to replace David Batty, he burnt all of his Leeds shirts and vowed never to buy another one. And he hasn't, I think, to this day.
I mean, as funny as that is, I think that's the very definition of an overreaction.
I mean, he was awful.
I don't know, like.
Yeah, right. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to start with Simon on this one. This is Newcastle Arsenal 1-0 to Newcastle.
I really
Anthony
thought we'd
Gordon
get away
with
with
the
not
goal.
talking about this game.
Joe Linton with the assist. So, Simon, the game itself, good game, poor game? They said it was a shit game.
Yeah, it kind of started off. Not an awful lot happened, and then a challenge went in, and like all hell broke loose then, and yeah, got a bit more feisty.
Because I've not seen this, I've genuinely seen nothing about this. One picture that Dave posted in our one of our chats. So that's all I've seen.
Yeah, I mean,
So talk me through it from a neutral point of view.
I didn't think there was a huge amount of quality on the show throughout the game. I think the two teams defensively kind of cancelled each other out a little bit, really. But then, yeah, as I say, the Havertz put a challenge in,
right,
which some people were adamant was a red card. I mean, it's a wild challenge, but I don't think he really properly catches him. It was more his trading leg caught him. Yeah. And then it kind of, it all kicked off and a lot of yellow cards thrown about.
So Havertz can't even do that right.
Yeah. Bruno, I thought, was pretty fortunate to have gotten away with planting his forearm into, I can't remember, there was Jorginho, wasn't it?
Jorginho,
into his head off the ball. I think, I think he got away with one there.
Right.
And then we got to the goal, which has sparked some conversation, shall we say. Now,
you ever thought about being a politician?
There's too many people come out the woodwork and finish me off very soon. So the goal, I kind of watching it, I was surprised it was given just because they had three different things to look at, and you kind of think they're looking at so many things for so long, like it's probably not going to be allowed.
Right.
However, and I think the other two lads here are going to have differing opinions on what I say. There's no conclusive angle showing the ball play. Is
that a big puddle of oil on your sofa there?
There's no angle that shows the ball is clearly out of play.
Oh yeah, so, to be fair, I think that is the least contentious argument.
So you go, okay, so you're going with that. And then the other two, the offside thing. Looking at it, I thought he's offside there. Like I was kind of surprised at that one, right. But you kind of the offsides, you kind of just tend to have to go with just assume they've got it. I think the only sort of contentious one was they looked at the foul, alleged foul, Joe Linton on Gabriel. It's one of those. If it had been given, I don't think there'd have been a huge amount of complaint. But I didn't really think it was a foul. I think it was probably okay. I mean, Gabriel could have been a bit stronger. Like his hands on his back, that doesn't. For me, that's not an automatic foul. Like you're allowed to make contact with players.
Yeah.
So I kind of. It was a weird one in that I was amazed that it was given, but I kind of think it probably should have. And then Arteta's reaction and comes to it, like if you're going to have this level of meltdown after losing your first league game of the season in November, it doesn't bode well for when the pressure really cranks up in sort of March, April time. And then Arsenal statements backing him up. I thought
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll get
to the statements.
I think there's a little bit more to all of that than just this one game, though.
Yeah, we'll get to the statement and Arteta and everything in a minute. Chris, as the Arsenal point of view, what did you think to the decisions in this game?
So I just want to be perfectly clear before I go any further is that I would like to say that Newcastle played really well in this game. From a defensive point of view, I thought they were excellent. I won't go as far to say they deserve to win, but I definitely wouldn't go as far to say that Arsenal deserve to win either. I think a draw would have probably been a fair result.
Yeah.
We didn't offer anything. Going forward, I don't particularly think that they did. They had a few chances which they probably should have capitalised on. I think Callum Wilson had a decent chance, and he got took off. He wasn't injured, was he, Dave?
He's always kind of injured, but because Isaac's out injured, and we've got Dortmund on Tuesday, we tend to play for no more than an hour. So.
I did wonder because some of the substitutions were pretty strange from that point of view. But yeah, the Havertz tackle, I probably wouldn't have complained if he'd have been sent off. I personally don't think it was a red, but if he had been sent off, I don't think there would have been too much said about it, to be fair. The goal, though, was ludicrous. Okay, the ball going out of play, I can kind of understand. what I don't understand is how there are 30 cameras in that ground.
Yeah,
and not
they-
one down the byline.
and not one of them could pick it
Yeah.
up. And then they use the same excuse for the offside. He was clearly offside because the rule is there has to be two attacking players between you and the goal. It doesn't, two defending players between you and the goal. And the clearly wasn't, but because the Gabriel was in the way and Joe Linton and Gabriel were both in the way, they couldn't go to the camera on the other side all of a sudden and get a conclusive one on there. So in a way, I kind of buy that. I do. He controls the ball with his hand, but again, that wasn't checked from what I could see. But to a degree, you could kind of understand them not disallowing it off that because it does kind of just bounce in between the two players. But I'm sorry, anywhere on the pitch, if you put two hands on the back of your opponent, it's a foul. If you do that, if a goal kick, two players go up for the ball in the middle of the field, and one player puts both their hands on the back of their opponent, it's a foul. How is it not a foul on the line? That's what I don't understand. Considering some of the goals that have been disallowed this season, for Arsenal especially, Ben White only has to. His tattoo has to just come like within contact with a goalkeeper, and we've had 2 goals disallowed this season because of it. That's the one that irks me the most. I don't understand that. And a few people have said about the ball going out of play that there was not conclusive proof from VAR. I'm pretty sure there have also been 2 other goals that have had the same thing this season, where they've showed the same camera angle, and one was from Man United a few weeks ago, and both goals were disallowed by VAR, and yet and they're saying it's exactly the same, so the consistency goes out the window there. But I think that I don't see any way that decision for the foul was given, but it is what it is. It's our first defeat this season. It's not the end of the world. Liverpool are still title contenders apparently, and we've got more points than them. Sky were making out like Newcastle were like the people's champions, and we're going to be lifting the trophy in May. And I'm pretty sure we're still 5 points ahead of them. It is ridiculous. I say if VAR hadn't been involved in that game, I don't think it'd been anywhere near as contentious.
That's what I was thinking. I want to hear what Dave thinks first, but I was going to kind of wrap all this up with: is VAR making this worse, or is it helping? Because this used to be something that would just be, well, that's a mistake. Fine, you live there. But if you've got so many cameras looking at things and it's still a mistake,
the goal would have stood though if there was no VAR because the ref gave the goal.
Yeah, but then it's just human error, isn't it? And
that's it. There's no massive debate about it.
Wiser. It'd just been, oh well, it's been given. The referee's a shithead.
Exactly. Yeah.
Big deal. But we haven't. But we've got this supposedly infallible system designed to stop these things from happening. That's where the anger is. The anger's not the referee for giving that goal. I can kind of see it because it's all in real time. But it's the fact that we have this system to stop these mistakes. And if anything, it's making them worse.
Yeah. Dave, view from the northeast.
Well, firstly, I mean, on the push, I don't think it's a clear and obvious error, and that's why it hasn't been overturned. Because if you look at Gabriel, we're going to call him, he's already like kind of stooping before Joe Linton even lays a hand on him. Like he's almost like he's waiting for the contact to come.
Well, he's going to head the ball backwards, isn't he? By the looks of it.
He's pretty much on the line. That'd be a fucking stupid idea.
It's Gabriel.
True. So I think that's why it wasn't given, because there's always going to be an element of pushing in the box.
Yeah.
But I just think he was expecting it. But the problem is anything like that, like it doesn't matter about VAR or anything else. Like that's just interpretation of is it a push, is it not? Like
normally, like 9 times out of 10, I think a foul would be given there.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily agree that means that it is actually definitely a foul. They just tend to be given. But like you just said, as you said earlier, Chris, like Ben White having goals disallowed, you would argue that they shouldn't be disallowed.
Yeah, it just the inconsistency is the problem.
Yeah, but you're never going to get consistency on fouls like that because it's a physical game. And all right, he's probably on the cusp of it being a foul or not a foul, as well, having this discussion, but you're never going to get 100% the same decision on those sorts of things. The ball out, as you've said, I think Gary Neville did a good thing at feature night on Monday Night Football where he showed like why it's not obviously out of play. And I think obviously it doesn't help that it was right in the corner flag, where there isn't a camera looking down on the corner flag for some reason. Well, because it's never ever been a factor before. And I think all the other ones that have been contentious have been like right on, more or less, the 18-yard box or there or thereabouts where they may have cameras. So that probably explains that one. I mean, we're never going to know either way whether we're in or out. Like there's no way of looking.
Yeah.
So I can see why they'll stay with the on-field decision. And the offside, no idea.
No one knows anymore, though, do they?
Who's even hit? Like, I was most worried about the offside. I know you were thinking the push would probably get the decision, but I thought it would give it offside. Mainly because they were both behind the keeper. And when that happens, I mean, I have to be honest, I don't 100% understand or know the rule when that happens. I mean, the ball going backward isn't a factor. But
was Gordon behind Joe Linson though? Because I think that
was. Yeah, I think that's probably what saved him. But again, like, is that still the case when there's only one defender? Like, I don't know. Look, I'm not paid to, so we'll have to trust they came to the right decision on that. But it was almost like all three offences were like 33% of an offence, none of which were enough singly to be overturned, and that's how it stayed. But to say echo what Chris said earlier, like, I don't think either team deserved to win. There was very little goal-mouth action, to be honest, in the whole game. It was mostly quite scrappy, especially after the Havertz challenge, which I mean, Havertz has had beef with us for years. I don't know if probably don't remember because he was playing for Chelsea at the time, but he elbowed Dan Burn in the back of the head.
That's been played a few times over the weekend.
Yeah. Then last year, obviously, he came up here around the same time of year, and he got the treatment from everybody. Every time he got the ball, he got kicked through. He got a few nudges off the ball. He got wound up all game, and it obviously ended in a fight towards the end, which it always does. And then he obviously harboured those feelings in the Saturday tackle. I've absolutely no idea why I did it, because you were in control of the game. You were getting on top. Declan Rice was actually dominating the play for me.
He was really good.
He was at both ends of the field all the time. And we're really starting to take control of the game. The tackle happened, and this is where the ref lost it for me, because, I mean, all right, it might not be a red card, but he booked 3 of our lads for complaining about it.
Which, including the player who got fouled.
Yeah, which, didn't really seem right to me. That tackle gets a yellow card, and 3 of our lads get the same punishment for complaining about it. And yet, when our goal was given and your entire team was around the ref, not a single card for complaining.
The referee was awful. Like, I didn't even get to. I totally forgot to mention the Bruno situation. Like, what the hell? How he stayed on the pitch. How Eddie Howe didn't take him off.
Who was the ref, by the way? Do we know?
His head went.
Okay.
He's never been good for me. But
I'd be not surprised.
But again, like, if the ref deals with the Havertz situation properly, then Bruno isn't up a height and running around like a lunatic. I mean, granted, there's no excuse for doing what he did. But again, all could have been avoided had it just been ref properly in the first place.
Did you hear that the VAR didn't give the red card for Bruno because he didn't use his elbow? But it was only his forearm.
That's all right.
That's completely fine then. Yeah,
that's a fine piece of body to tackle someone with. It's not a problem.
Macho Man Randy Savage flying forearm. He was fine. I think if both teams had finished with 10 men in the first half, I think you could have been like, well, that's probably fine. But we got away with it, I think. But I mean, I think Havertz was lucky to stay on, because his only aim there was to hurt. Like, he wasn't doing it to like try and intercept or anything like that. He purely had one thing on his mind.
Malicious.
Was to injure him. And he's lucky he didn't make full contact, because he would have probably killed the fucker. But never mind.
The statement, Chris, the statement from Arsenal that it released yesterday. As an Arsenal fan, what do you think about it?
I don't have a problem with it, and I've seen a few people saying that clubs shouldn't be doing this sort of thing to try and instigate change within the PGMO and everything. So to anyone who shares that opinion, I'd like to ask them, if not the clubs, then who? Who is going to instigate change? Pundits have been moaning about VAR since it came in this country. Players won't moan about it, because it would be stupid for a player to come out and moan about it, considering they would be fined and banned for doing it. Managers do it, but then they do it to a limited degree, and when they do let their passion get out, when they have a microphone shoved in their face seconds after the final whistle, they get called deranged, and Arteta will likely get a hefty fine and a ban. So who else? They don't give a shit when fans complain about it. So who is allowed to complain about the standard of VAR and refereeing in this country? So I don't see there's anything wrong with it. I think it's good from the club to back their employee. Arteta's, he's going to get a fine. He's probably going to get a ban as well. I don't see the problem with them backing their employee. A few weeks ago, a certain club from up north were calling for fucking replays of games over a bad decision. Now that would be ridiculous. Like, if I'd have seen anything like that, if any Arsenal fans had seen fucking banding that shit around, that's bollocks. It's a bad decision. We're angry about it. We've had lots of bad decisions in the last.
Not Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly. But as it's not just about this one game though.
Yeah,
there have been multiple incidents in the last 2-3 seasons at least that have just absolutely ridiculous. And I would go as far to say that bad decisions cost us the league last season. Obviously, to a degree, we cost ourselves a league by bottling it, as some professionals will call it. Which is fair enough. But there were some shocking decisions made against us last season.
Yeah, we had the same. I firmly believe VAR cost us safety last year. The Spurs game in particular, where the Calpe keeper was pushed into the net by Harry Kane. We were winning at that point, but
and that's it. These sort of things, they cost people's jobs. They cost clubs money. Why shouldn't the clubs be able to come out and say, this is shit, it needs to change? Because I say, pundits have been doing it since day one. Fans have been doing it since day one. Managers do it and they just get insulted. Who else is going to call for change? I'm not saying that PGML are going to, or the FA or the Premier League are going to give a shit and do anything about it, because they probably won't. But I don't get the criticism for making that statement. I don't have a problem with Liverpool making the statement when they did. Some of the other stuff was ridiculous, like the calls for a replay and all that. That's absolutely ridiculous. But to call out the standard and to say this is not the right standard and it's not good enough, I don't see there being a problem with that.
No, I agree with that. Dave, Simon, what do you reckon?
I think the big difference was Liverpool were wrongly done because the process wasn't followed properly, and that was an actual error. Whereas this game was opinions. So basically, Arteta's complaining because the refs haven't given him his decisions.
But it's the overall standard of he's not just Arteta isn't just talking about this one game. Is he? He's talking about the multiple poor decisions that have been made.
It's true, but just about 2 weeks ago, he came out saying, we need to back their decisions. The humans are trying their best. People make mistakes. So that, you can't have a complete turnaround like that in 2 weeks.
But he's just had a microphone shoved under his mouth.
Yeah,
literally seconds after the final whistle. I don't see the problem with him being emotional.
Yeah, okay, so I would agree with that. With an interview totally soon after the game, when obviously you maybe would say things that you wouldn't necessarily say. So that excuses that. But, the club weren't reacting a few minutes after the game.
No, the club,
in an emotional way.
But the club were just backing their employee.
But there was no need there's no need to release a statement. You just open yourself to kind of ridicule again, don't you?
I think it keeps the PGMOL in the spotlight to more of a degree than the pundits do every week, because you could argue and say, okay, well, the standard referee's in the spotlight every week because of pundits talking about it, and nothing changes then. So let's get more people higher up the chain talking about it. I say nothing will change, but I don't get the problem with it. Personally, I'd like to see all of the clubs come forward and be like, do you know what? This is shit. The standard of refereeing this season and for most part of last season has not been good enough. We need to do something about it. But unfortunately, they won't.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Let's move on. Unai Emery was linked with the Man United job this week. So to quash rumours of that, he managed to get his team to throw in their worst performance of the season. He does not look like he want to take that job. Forest 2, Villa 0, so...
Really disappointing, really. It's a missed opportunity. With Arsenal obviously having lost the day before, we had a chance to go third with a win yesterday, which is insane, really. You think where we were a year ago when you took over. a bad performance from us, and like certainly in the attacking third. Really sloppy start to both halves. I mean, the second goal, I don't know what Emery's doing there. He's just proving he's human, I suppose. After all, it's that. I mean, that it was a really bad error for that. And we just we never really got going. Like the first half, it took us a while to sort of create any sort of chance. And the second half, to be fair, for pretty much the entire game, we sort of dominated possession. We got ourselves into quite a few decent positions, but whether it was the final cross or pass or shot, it was just one of those days where it just wasn't there up front. I didn't think, looking back, I don't think Forest were actually like great. Like they didn't need to be. They defended like pretty well, but the commentators were sort of talking about their centre backs like they were absolutely magnificent, but they didn't really have an awful lot to deal with. It was just long balls up and sort of aimless crosses, which, fair play, they dealt with it pretty well. But I didn't think they were as great as the commentators were making out. And the other thing, like they kept saying how dangerous Forest looked every time they went forwards. Yeah. Every single time they went forwards, we caught them offside. And I saw the match of day 2 last night with Dion Dublin sort of talking about how it was crazy high line, which I mean is a really high line that we play, and that we weren't getting it right. And the reason for we weren't getting it right was if Forest get that last pass right or that last run right, they're through. Well, yeah, they would be, but they didn't because we've worked really, really hard and well over the last 12 years. Like it is very risky. You do sort of sit there watching it thinking, Jesus Christ, I don't like this. But as I say, the amount of times we caught them offside would suggest to me that we actually got that part of the game right.
Yeah.
And not a lot else, unfortunately.
Okay, let's move on to the last game of the weekend, Luton and Liverpool. Liverpool rescued a late draw by Luis Diaz. Obviously, his parents getting kidnapped has motivated him to come off the bench and score against Luton this weekend. Were Liverpool really bad in this, or were Luton really good? I can't believe Luton were really good.
Darwin Núñez was really bad in this.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
He had so many chances to score and put this out of reach before it even got interesting towards the end. Like he's the oddest footballer I've seen for a long time. Like he gets into so many positions in every game he plays.
Yeah.
And it just could go anywhere. Like spot the ball, that was still around. Like the ball could be absolutely anywhere on the screen. Like it's insane.
Is that one from Salah knockdown, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, like a yard out.
Ali would have been leading this game for Núñez to score some goals as well. We need to really cement that golden boot.
That's poor Gakpo. He's got down for the goal.
I was Gakpo.
It was even more insane than you thought.
I was going to say, yeah, Núñez is a little bit realistic to it. Really.
It was just utterly bizarre, really. And then Luton got the sucker punch goal, and I thought, well, they're going to nick this, but obviously Liverpool managed to equalise at the end.
Yeah.
It was one of those where Liverpool obviously probably deserved to win on the chances, but Luton hung in well and sort of grew into it. The longer it went on, the goal they got was kind of, I wouldn't say more likely because it came totally out of the blue, really. But they kept going, and the longer Liverpool didn't score, it just felt a bit inevitable. But they got away with it in the end with a point. But not a good result for Liverpool.
When did Andros Townsend turn up in Luton?
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Signed him as a free. Yeah.
Christ.
After all the Saudi clubs rejected them.
They're very much playing Championship Manager where they're just picking up free transfers, aren't they? Anyone that'll come and join them.
Got to give it a go.
Are they going to stay up? Because it's 3 from 4, isn't it? Because Everton are just going to be shit enough to not go down this season. So you'd think it's going to be 3 from Luton, Bournemouth, Burnley, and Sheffield United.
I mean, I said a couple of weeks ago, if there's one of the promoted teams that's going to stay up, I think from what we've seen so far, Luton would be the one that I would be picking. Like, there's a severe lack of quality there, obviously, but they're at least showing some sort of fight. And
yeah, they look like they're improving as well.
Yeah, and the majority of the games that they've lost this season have only been by the one goal. I think they've had like maybe 2 or 3 sort of pace things, but They do stay in games like for the majority of them, but it is just a lack of quality. Which, if they go, that'll be the reason why. But it won't be for any lack of fight or effort.
As we're recording, Chelsea are drawing with Tottenham, 9-men Tottenham. They've had 2 players sent off, one after half time, one before half time. Chelsea can't seem to break them down, and Gary Neville claims that they're losing confidence against a 9-man Tottenham Hotspur team.
Oh, well,
I'd actually say that.
There we go. Finally scored. What I find bizarre is that like Tottenham have got 9 men and they've been defending on the halfway line. But because they've only got 9 men, there's no pressure on the ball whatsoever. So Chelsea basically played the ball in behind over and over and over again.
But
eventually,
it's to Nicholas Jackson, isn't it? You know, you've got to give him half a chance.
Well, he's finally scored. So
okay,
good for him.
Yeah.
I say on my stream, Cucurella has been the most forward man on the pitch for most of the time. Oh yeah, just seeing the goal.
All right, let's do some gossip column before we end up though, boys, shall we? Let's tell me if you think these are going to be true or false. Arsenal are ready to offer England defender. Well, I mean, that's questionable. Ben White, that's a national pay rise. Look to tie the 26-year-old down to a new contract. What Ben White say, Chris?
It's been on the cards for ages, tying our best players down to new contracts. He's been phenomenal since he joined us. It makes sense.
Yeah,
he's got to fund that those hair dyes somehow, isn't he?
Do you notice after he scored an own goal in midweek, he took the dye out of his hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Liverpool, Chelsea, and Bayern Munich are all in the race to sign Florian Wirtz. I guess they are.
So he's going to Bayern Munich then?
Yeah, he's not going to join Chelsea, is he? Well, Chelsea might offer him £400 million a week.
And Liverpool would be linked with him, and then at some point Jurgen Klopp will be like, "No, we haven't got the money to sign him." So.
I don't really know why this is gossip, but Real Madrid are unlikely to make any new signings in January. Cool. Good for them.
Good for them. I watched them stumble to a 0-0 draw last night with Rio Vallecano, and
Really?
well, funny enough, Hoslu was up front, and it just like I was like, I remember this.
Hoslu, formerly of Stoke
and Newcastle.
And
But
Newcastle,
him.
Yeah.
Our Etifak manager, Steven Gerrard, has hinted that his team will raid European clubs once again in January for talents.
What, for supporters?
Which other England internationals can they bring over? Calvin Phillips died for a game. He'll head over.
James Milner started the weekend, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Barcelona side, I believe to be concerned about on loan French defender Clement Lenglet's situation at Villa. He's not made an appearance this season.
Not in the league. He's played a couple of the European games.
Are they right to be concerned?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. It depends. Well, they weren't that concerned to keep him in the summer, were they?
They've loaned him out 2 seasons in a row, and now, like, how bothered can you really be?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I don't know what to say to that.
I mean, completely counteracting the story I told you a second ago, Real Madrid hope to sign Bayern Munich's Canadian defender Alphonso Davies and Kylian Mbappe. So it's one or the other.
Are you reading news stories from 2 years ago? Because I'm pretty sure those were in the news. Those exact stories were doing the rounds then as well.
Burnley are interested in signing winger Crescencio Somerville from Leeds, but yeah, they can fuck off because they're not having him.
Good one.
Yeah, that's not going to work because he's an exciting winger. They don't play those. Arsenal, former Arsenal star Sami Nasri has advised Mbappe to stay in France instead of heading to Madrid next summer.
Yes, because we all know Sami Nasri makes good life choices.
Yes, take that man's advice.
If you want to listen to Nasri, who will you listen to?
Oh
my God, Eric.
He's
Has Eric Dyer just scored?
Well, he thought he had.
What a shame!
I wonder if the Chelsea player flick this on.
This would be so fun.
Are we all going to be like, you know, obviously if bad VAR decisions go against Spurs tonight, which would be obviously criminal, are we all going to be tuning in for the Sky Sport to love in when he comes out and says something?
Everyone loves Ange, don't they?
Exactly.
I'm getting a bit sick of that, I'll be honest.
Emperor's new clothes, isn't it, with him?
It is.
Even Eric Dyer didn't think he'd believe he'd scored then.
It's a lovely finish, it has to be said.
Yeah, he was trying to clear it. He got confused where he was.
What's not doing? I mean, that's it, boys. Really? Any other news? It's been a fairly drab weekend, apart from the Arsenal Newcastle game.
I was going to say, in a way, like if that game had been the way it was, like we'd have had probably nothing to talk about this weekend.
Yeah.
Wolves, Sheffield United, and Villa, Nottingham Forest would have been the highlights.
Ten Hag dropped Rashford. That was funny. He wasn't even in the
Because
squad, was he?
he went out on the piss, didn't they? Have you
How
seen
did
that?
he?
Yeah, after they lost last weekend, he was like hours later, he was seen out on the piss, like laughing and joking. How dare he enjoy himself
How
after
dare you
work?
have a life?
Absolutely disgusting.
I think it was for his birthday as well.
Yeah.
It was like a birthday party.
Yeah.
What a scumbag.
Yeah. Fucking disgusting, isn't it? You know, first he buys his mum a house. Now he goes out and enjoys himself.
Absolute dickhead. It's funny that it happens to Man United, though.
It's brilliant.
It is great. I'll probably end it there, then, boys. I guess. Si, where can they find you on Twitter? What's happening with the other podcasts and stuff?
Yes, on Twitter it's at Sire Egan, and Villa fans it's the Holtcast podcast and the website 7500toholts.com.
There you go, Dave.
You can find me on Twitter X, whatever it's called these days, at CM9798. And the YouTube is CM9798 Plays.
Nice. You got any more videos coming up soon?
Yes, I have started with player Pez again, but
yes.
then everybody got sick, so I've got 2 recorded. I just want to record a few more before I start uploading. But yes, it's come back.
Love it. Love that series. Chris, where can they find you on social medias?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at XIX If you can tell me where to download Football Manager face packs and stuff from Dave, I'm installing Football Manager 24 as we speak. I haven't played one since 21. I think
I think it's sorted out. SI, is that the best?
Yeah, I've been on there during the podcast and I can't work it out. So if anyone knows where I can just get a torrent for one. I mean, can legally download some pictures of footballers.
Is it out today? Is it the new one?
Yeah, new one came out today.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at __. You can find us at Man of the Post. And yeah, just do all the usual social stuff, like, subscribe, retweet, repost, whatever it's called now. Do all of that. Until the boys are back next weekend, it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Dave.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from Chris.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from Si.
See ya.
And always remember to keep your Man on the Post.
Yeah, I've got to say, Dave, Eric was very unhappy with what you said about him last week on the podcast.
Good.
Any games we need to skip this week, boys? Or
all of them? It was a shit weekend.